Welcome to Keto on the Couch, episode 163.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and then every Monday we go live on Keto on the Couch, where we just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time it's Monday, you'll be alerted to it.
Welcome to Keto on the Couch.
Hi, everybody.
If you are new here, this is the series where we go live every Monday, at least live as much as possible. We have a couple we're coming up where we'll probably be pre-recording them. Haven't quite decided yet. But what we do is we like to have this is all about subscribers. It started out with just kind of talking about what we were eating for like the week, and it developed into celebrating you guys because we love to celebrate your wins and answer questions and things like that.
Yeah.
We used to pre-record it, but it takes like 7 hours to edit this, so we decided to not do that anymore. So
try to avoid it.
We don't pay too much attention to the chat while we're doing Keto on the Couch. And what we do is last 10 or 15 minutes of the live stream, we'll adjust the chat. If there is something that comes up while we're discussing a topic or a subscriber story or answering a question and you really want us to address it right then and there, use the super chat function down below. That is the little $sign that you see in the chat window. We do have a sponsor for today. It is Perfect Keto.
Thanks, Perfect Keto.
Perfect Keto is pre-launching a brand new product. We put a review video of it this morning. It is macaroni and cheese. And I'm going to say we were pleasantly surprised. Right?
I didn't know what we were wandering into. We've eaten all kinds of things in the past 5 years. So I was pleasantly surprised that this was good.
Yeah, now go watch that review video, but it is made with lupini flour, so if you have a legume allergy, this will definitely be a no-go for you. If you're okay with legumes, it is high in total carbs, but it's all fiber from the legumes and from the flour. It is really tasty. I'm honestly shocked. When we first heard about it, I was like, ugh. And I told them, we're going to give you our honest opinion. Also, it was very filling. We ended up eating an entire serving of it, and it was really, really filling.
And that was it for the night.
I was kind of shocked at how filling it was.
Me too.
So if you are interested, there's a link down below to celebrate that. They are actually doing a up to 30% off sale all week to celebrate it, so it's not just on the macaroni and cheese. There's a link down below. If you need anything from Perfect Keto, go ahead and use that. Please, we appreciate you guys supporting the sponsors who support Two Crazy Ketos. I saw a question up here. Ginger said, how do I keep my stationary bike seat from hurting my butt? The little bit that I know about bike riding, which is just enough to be dangerous, is your seat is probably positioned wrong. The person to ask that, if she's
Radical
in here
Geek.
or send her a message, is Maitreya, also known as Radical Geek.
She's actually helped to provide some information.
Also hoofing it.
Yes, absolutely. Karen and Brian probably too could give you some great advice on that. But Maitreya's even talked about different sportswear to wear when you're riding a bike, because sometimes, we need a little padding on ourselves.
Right.
In addition to the seat being just right.
Yeah. So just that's the best place to go to. There was something else I saw here. Oh, Joanna said, I'm grateful for the timer countdown. I always seem to miss a minute of Dr. Barry and Nisha when they go live.
Aww,
so thanks. Yeah, people do message us. Can you please get rid of the timer countdown? It's only there for the live portion of this. When this goes to a regular recording, if we cut out the timer, then we lose the chat. And we try to not cut out the chat unless there was a major issue and we have to edit it, which I meant to record this just in case we do have an issue.
You never know.
So, but yeah, the reason the timer is there is to help us. So we can get the timer going. That puts us live. And if we notice an issue with technology, we have 1 minute to fix it.
Exactly.
As opposed to just going live and then having everything going. Because I have a whole system here that shows us microphones. Sometimes it doesn't always work, as evidenced by Thursday. But Like Thursday, we knew ahead of time the microphone wasn't working because we had a 1 minute countdown.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's jump right into Keto on the Couch. We're going to start off with this week's Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. It is Carol.
Hey, Carol.
And Carol actually put up this meme, and I love this. She said, if you are struggling today, remember this. You have survived everything you've gone through up to this point. The best day of your life is still yet to come. There are still people who you haven't met and things you haven't experienced. You can do this.
Carol, thank you so much. Because I think that, you know, it's important on days when you're feeling down, don't just let that happen to you, right? Mm-hmm. Like go out and actively seek some positive reinforcement, some positive words in your life. And that I'm going to hold on to that. That is awesome. Cause yes, it ain't over till it's over. We're still in this. And I get excited thinking about the fact that there are new friends to make.
Right.
I haven't even met every single person that will be a blessing in my life yet. Yeah. Isn't that exciting?
I'm excited about that. Now, I meant to say before, so we are planning a trip, if we can find a hotel room or a camping spot, which we are having a difficult time doing.
Come on, Wandering
For those
Labs.
of you who are going to the cruise, which is the weekend of the 14th. I believe it leaves on the 15th, which is our anniversary, which is one of the reasons we were going on the cruise. We're going up for the pre-cruise dinner. But what we're going to do is we're going to go up a couple of days early to hang out with some people at Universal Studios and stuff. Our plan is to be going out to eat on Thursday.
Night?
Thursday, which is 14, 13, 12th, the 12th.
Okay.
Somewhere in the Orlando area. It'll be everybody pays for themselves. But if anybody is interested in joining us, go ahead and send us an email at Joe or Rachel at twocrazyketos.com just so we can get an idea. I know we're going to be going out with Shauna and Heath and Shelly and Susan. I believe Susan will be in town by then.
I hope so.
But
she gets back from Ireland
so we
kind of
want to open it up that anybody who may be in the area, it'll probably honestly be a Brazilian steakhouse because that's the best place to go.
It's just
for
something
keto.
for everybody. And as much as we would love to take everybody out for dinner, we've put your dinner into Joe's mouth. That's where it is. So at least when he smiles at you, there'll be teeth smiling back.
Speaking of which, I have another dental appointment today. So we need to get through this. Okay, let's move on to our first subscriber of the week. Now, these are success stories that are either emailed to us at stories@twocrazyketos.com or over on our Facebook group. We always encourage you guys, please share your story. Your story is so important for two reasons. Number one, it's going to inspire somebody.
Yes.
It's going to help them realize they are not alone. But also, it's a great thing for you to go look back on and be like, okay, that's where I was. This is where I'm at now, and I'm having some success.
I love that.
Okay, and it doesn't matter if you've been on keto for a day, a week, a year, whatever it is, if you've had any kind of success, if you haven't had sugar for 5 days,
that's huge.
That's a success story, and please share it. Chris Bear, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Said, regarding the perfect keto macaroni and cheese, let's talk about the fiber game and companies using fiber for sweeteners to trick people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so obviously they're not really using a fiber here to, I hope that's where he's going, to sweeten it. There's a difference between this and companies adding just a whole bunch of like IMO fibers and things to up the sweetness and then make you think that there is like a lower carb count than there really isn't. So this is actually fiber from the lupini flour. Also, lupini flour is extremely high in protein, which is probably why it filled us up so much.
I was going to say, and why it had such a high protein
Okay,
gram.
So the first subscriber of the week is from Becky.
Hey, Becky.
Becky said, he never does any of the Facebook or social media stuff, but I had to share.
Aww.
He was going through his closet and found these over a year ago. The buttons on each side wouldn't close. He felt bad all the time, had gotten to where he felt bad to work all day.
Aww.
Now sometimes he thinks he's a young gun. Keto saves lives. Way to go, Billy, my forever sweetheart.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is so stinking fantastic.
I feel like you can fit 3 Billies in that.
I think so too. Congratulations to your sweetheart. And I love that. Don't you love that acknowledgement? My forever sweetheart. I was thinking about that when I had posted a picture of us going on a date on Friday night and like my forever date. And I love that. So congratulations, you two young birds.
Yeah.
Lovebirds.
Yeah. Now back to what Chris was talking about with the fiber. That is one of the reasons where he talks about companies that play the fiber game, adding in a bunch of fiber. We talked about that the other day with the tortillas. I have gone to the grocery store and looked at regular tortillas and low-carb tortillas and am shocked by seeing almost the same ingredients, except for the low-carb tortillas have fiber added.
And extra.
And they're usually higher in total carbs than the regular ones. As a matter of fact, we had from the Keto crate box that Jimmy's pudding.
Jimmy.
And was it 43 total carbs?
It was
And somebody actually put a thing that they had regular pudding in their closet for their children. And there were almost half as many carbs in a sugared version of pudding as in that Jimmy's one. That's the fiber game.
Does not surprise me,
right?
At this point, because when we saw that and that little dab of pudding inside of the container didn't even fill the container, I was like, this ain't right.
But that is why we advocate, if you want to do net carbs, number one, have a total carb cap so that you don't overdo it, and number two, so that when you're looking at it, if you're going to do like net carbs, we always are going to suggest don't deduct fiber. If you want to deduct sugar alcohols, I would go there, but I would not deduct fiber unless it's fiber from something like a vegetable or something like that. But any kind of product, I personally would not deduct the fiber. The worst thing that's going to happen at the end of the day is your body doesn't use all the fiber.
That's a good thing.
You ate less carbs than you thought you did. I mean, even we do a lot of keto chow. There's acacia fiber in there. I know that acacia fiber does not digest in my body as far as a carbohydrate, but there are benefits. I still count it. I just up my total carbs to 30. But if you look at our day, probably 10 or 11 of my total carbs almost every single day are the acacia fiber from, eating keto chow.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. On average, we're between 15 to 25 total carbs, including that.
A great big hey howdy hey to Dolores
Thank
Robinson.
you very much for
Thanks
the
so
$2
much.
super chat. Okay, ready? Next one is from Sarah.
Sarah.
We got to get that off so we can read it. Go ahead.
Keto lifestyle is my saving grace. I'm so excited that Sarah's sharing, by the way. Super excited about this. Been overweight my whole life, multiple surgeries that damaged my health. Been on keto for 5 years, but more consistently the past 2 years. I have RA, lupus, and thyroid issues. Weight loss has been great, but the relief on my joints has been more important to me to keep going. Not everybody does keto the same way, and it's a learning journey. I just found out that pork causes inflammation for me. Thankful for 2 crazy ketos that have invested in us and this community. Starting weight 420 pounds, but no picture. The picture on the left was at 300 pounds. The one on the right is 205 pounds. It takes time for the body to heal. Sarah, look at that gorgeous lady in her Mickey Mouse shirt, enjoying her life. That is what is the most exciting thing, is you're out there having a beautiful adventure with your family, enjoying the way your body feels on the inside. It looks incredible on the outside. That is a super duper win.
Right.
But with all of the situations that you've had, all of the medications that you've been able to wean off of is like so exciting. And just this genuine smile on your face during a day at a theme park, feeling good as you're doing so much extra walking and so much extra movement. It's just exciting to celebrate that. That's fantastic.
Now, I think we do have one more. It's from Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Scott said, I'm very new to this group. I really enjoy the post and feeling of community. I've been on keto journey since July of 2021. I had a pretty awesome non-scale victory today. Down another 6 inches in jeans.
Wow.
Well, maybe 5. They're a bit tight. That makes 12 inches lost in jean size since I started last July.
Wow.
I actually went to our shed and got a box of clothes that I thought I had boxed up forever. I'm fitting back into several things and I'm super close on other things. Very exciting and motivating. These photos are from last July and then a couple of days ago. Definitely seeing a difference in my face. I just wanted to share my good news.
Scott, I'm so glad that you did. Wow. Way to go. That is exciting.
That is awesome.
And I mean, that's honestly the way to measure.
Yep.
Inches.
Yep.
12 inches off of your body. That is an incredible difference. Your clothes, like what sizes you can get into and how they're going to fit, so much different than just looking at the scale weight.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black and then we'll come back with the YouTube comments.
Hello.
You're up there now.
Am I? Hi. All these cameras, I never know if it's going to be above me or...
We're trying to up the game, moving the cameras around and stuff like that. So, Joanna, thank you very much for upgrading your channel membership.
Exciting.
Okay, let's move on to the YouTube comments from last week. And why can't I see that? There we go.
Thanks for not turning us off.
First one is from Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
She said, you were right about the low-carb breads and tortillas. I cut the tortillas out long ago and quit the local low-carb bakery breads. I was like what Rachel said about bringing a lie into your diet. That is huge.
Man, here's the thing. I have to be honest with myself. Does everybody react to certain ingredients the way I do? No. Mm-hmm. Do people have the same hang-ups that I do? No. But just because somebody else struggles with something different than I do doesn't mean that I don't need to deal with my stuff.
Right.
If I don't deal with my own stuff, then there's going to be a problem and I'm going to be the one that pays for it, right? Like I have to deal with what works for me.
Yeah. Keto Life Granny put a comment up, said, since changing from net carbs to total, I've stopped doing all the keto treats because I have absolutely no control over them.
I think it's brilliant to deal with that. That was something that we had to face too.
Right.
Because we found ourselves really having giant net carb days. Like it would be 20 net carbs. So we were like technically doing what is right.
But I can turn 200 total carbs into 0 net carbs, no problem.
So when we say like, I think a total carb cap at the very least is the best policy, it's not because we're trying to police somebody's journey. It's because we fell down the hole and think maybe we can prevent somebody else from having the same problem we did.
Yeah, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals, but everything we talk about is based on our own experience or what we've learned from talking to people who are doctors, nurses, or health professionals. And a lot of it is based on our own personal journey. Like I said, I can turn 200 total carbs into 0 net carbs. No problem. I have done it. I'm an addict. So we're not trying to be mean. We're trying to help people say like, hey, if you want to have the best results, this is a good thing. You don't have to leave your total carb at 20. You can make your total carb 30 or even 40. YouTube is not receiving enough.
All right.
There we go. Okay.
And we're back.
But at least if you have a total carb cap of let's say 30, that would allow you to have an occasional keto treat, like some kind of a bar or a mug cake or something like that. And then the rest of your day is like whole food, like eggs and beef and things like that. But if you're just doing net carbs, you're gonna find that you might possibly be eating 3 or 4 of those treats. And that is not gonna help your journey.
Well, I've also found that if I have trouble getting my protein in, like that can be a problem, right? I want to get my protein in. I want to prioritize protein. And having a total carb cap helps that because I will not have as many other keto treats and otherwise that will take up the majority of my carbs.
Yeah. Next one is from Synergy.
Hey, Synergy. I'm working on my sleep too. I'm up about at 6:30 and really need to be in bed between 9 and 9:30, but I discovered I can't go that early all at once. It results in my not being able to get to sleep until the wee hours of the morning. Getting enough sleep is harder than anything to do with eating healthy or exercise. I think you're absolutely right.
Right.
I think that I have said to myself that getting to stay up late and watch a bunch of television before I go to bed. I know I have a bedtime, but I almost want to fight against it. There's no like parent holding it over my head and being like, no, you must go to bed. It's up to me to police that, but it's still challenging.
I'm finding it this week that we have been forcing ourselves, or at least trying to force ourselves to go to bed. It's like, yeah, we're laying in bed at like 10:30 and I look at Rachel, I'm like, time to turn the TV off. And she's like, but I'm not ready to go to bed.
I don't want to yet.
But it's been interesting because when we do turn it off, sometimes we've laid there just kind of talking for 20 or 30 minutes, but it has been much better. You're up and running. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it's very, very weird.
And frustrating and distracting.
But it's just, It's been a really tough thing. I think I have an easier time actually getting up and exercising than doing this sleep thing. But I know the sleep thing is benefiting us, and I've been looking at my Oura Ring, and we're averaging like 8.5, 9 hours sleep since we started doing this on Monday or Tuesday.
I know that it is easier for me to get up every morning and I'm like both feet on the ground ready to go.
Right.
So I do definitely think that it is doing something helpful in my life, because it used to be like the caffeine was like the jump to my car battery.
Right.
Like it was absolutely necessary for me to almost be drinking a cup of coffee in the bed.
Right.
Before I could get out, and I don't feel like that.
Yeah. Next one's from Kendra.
Hey, Kendra.
She said, I make a lot of assumptions, and you know what they say about that. I assume that if you're a dynamic, fun-loving YouTuber, you are also comfortable on stage emceeing. I assume that Dr. Barry would not encourage people to come up and talk to him and ask personal questions. Thank you for helping me discover assumptions can distort reality. I hope to soon meet a lot of you in person.
Kendra, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it is challenging, I think, for everybody to go. I'm in awe of the speakers, all of the speakers, Dr. Barry and everybody that made themselves available for like Q&As, right? Because you don't know what you're gonna be asked. And you don't maybe necessarily have all the answers, right? And you're just putting yourself out there to be like, hey, let's not do this alone. Let's talk to one another. You give me ideas to bring back to my patients. You give me things that I need to research. I love the discussions that are coming out of these opportunities to meet up.
Yeah. Now, and as far as like being on stage, it's funny because, yeah, I mean, we struggled with first doing videos. I remember when I brought up the idea to Rachel, and she was like, I just
You must be crazy.
can't do that because of her anxiety. But if you would kind of block out the fact it was easy when you only had like 50 subscribers, right? And half of them were family.
Yes, yes.
But as we grew, it kind of did help with our anxiety a little bit. But when you show up in person, it's a little different because now you see the people you're talking to.
Yeah.
And there's no button that allows you to like hit stop and redo it. There's no button that allows us to edit. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Or, oop, my words got slurred. Let's cut that out. This is, you're live. And that's one of the problems with doing these live things. You never know what's going to come out of our mouth. You never know when all of a sudden the internet's going to go down.
I want to control it all.
Right.
Let's be honest. Like, I want to make the internet work.
Right.
I want to be able to have the right thing to say in a moment.
Right.
And I don't have control over that. I don't even have control of being nervous or not.
Right.
Sometimes you're just going to get nervous. Sometimes you're going to have sweaty armpits, and you just kind of have to put yourself out there and be like, okay, God, I'm going to show up. And let's do this. But I am going to celebrate life and enjoy getting to interact with people and believe that every day it's going to get a little easier.
It's honestly the same thing with your keto lifestyle, right? Like, you're not going to be able to control everything. And that's why we're going to continue to say strive for perfection, but know you probably will never achieve it.
Becca is asking, how much sleep does the Oura Ring give you? Does it tell you how much you're awake during the night and how much REM sleep?
Yeah, so I should probably do a review video of it. We are not sponsored by them. We're not affiliated with them.
We just like the data.
I actually am ordering a ring for Rachel because it's not something Rachel has ever been into. But again, because we're focusing so much on sleep, I think it's important to find out her sleep thing, and neither one of us want to wear a watch to go to bed.
Right.
But it really gets into detail with what time you sleep, how much are you tossing and turning, how much deep sleep, how much REM sleep. It gives you a lot of suggestions on what things to change. It rates your sleep, like you had this quality of a sleep. Hey, today you should probably be really paying attention because you didn't get enough sleep last night.
Yeah.
So it's really complicated to get into on this video. And so maybe at some point, it'll be good for me to teach you how to use it when you get one.
Well, I'll need to.
And the way you do it is you order the ring from them. All of them have the same sensors, but there's some that are more expensive because of the finish. But what they do is they send you a sizing kit, and then they basically figure out what size you need. You go on their website,
That's going to be comfortable to go to bed in.
Yeah, but it's also got to be tight enough to be able to read everything. So it can't be too tight or too loose. And then after you figure out your size, you go on the website, you say, this is the size, and then they send you the actual ring.
One of my friends has one, and she just recently had a baby, and she found it very helpful to study her sleep during pregnancy and then after she's had her baby, and like what measures she can take to get as much quality sleep as she can. And it's challenging. And I thought, man, I wish that when the kids were little, I took a look at that sort of thing so that I can, on all sides, be the best mom I can be in the moment. And I love that she's like, I need to collect this data about myself. I need to know, how can I get more rest as a mom?
Yep. Okay, next one is from Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl.
She said, Dr. Sibos recommended BBBE for me, and I am doing it. But yes, I am having electrolyte issues. Such bad cramps at night. Ouch. Not sleeping good is stalling my success. I'm hanging in there, though. So you can still get electrolytes on BBBE.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what I would recommend to you, if you're struggling to get your electrolytes, because you have to get your electrolytes in, it's going to...
Non-negotiable.
It's not negotiable, especially your sodium. Number one, start with your sodium. And listen, all you got to do is salt your food. Everything you eat, put salt on it. Like, we put salt in our keto chow when we're having keto chow. We put salt on everything. Rachel even puts salt on ice cream sometimes.
I do. It's true.
Salt everything. You're not going to overdo salt, especially if you're drinking some fluids throughout the day, because your body will flush out excess sodium. Scam likely. It's your boyfriend.
Oh, sorry.
So...
Why does he call you all the time now?
I don't know. So yeah, number one, get your sodium in. But as far as your potassium and your magnesium, you can do things like the Keto Chow electrolyte drops. There is no sweetener in there, so it's fine to have those. You can do the Redmond Relight capsules. You can do the Keto Chow tablets. All of those are completely fine on BBBE. The only thing you're supposed to be avoiding is sweetener, but it is still possible. We got through BBBE using the Redmond Relights. We don't really use the Keto Chow tablets because we're in Florida, and as soon as we open up the container, they turn to like dust for us.
Right.
But they're fixing that because they have them now in individual packets. They're just waiting for the piece to ship them out. But we've been enjoying those since we were there, and it's really a game changer. Next one is from Linda.
Hey, Linda, if I make your bacon mayo but use bacon fat, do I use the same amount of bacon fat as butter? Also, should you track weight of bacon cooked or fried?
Okay, so bacon fat, if you're making bacon mayo, yeah, use the same amount. You would use like a half a cup or a cup depending on what recipe you're following. As far as cooking, you're tracking your weight for bacon. That is one of the few foods that I am going to always recommend that you track cooked.
Yeah.
Because if you pull up bacon in Chronometer or in a reliable app, not something where everybody is adding things in, but if you go to the USDA website,
there you go. That's a great resource. For
calories for bacon and nutrition facts for bacon, uncooked, it's going to have a lot more fat than protein. Obviously, it's mostly fat, but you are not eating raw bacon, and you are not going to consume all of that fat. When you cook bacon, it is generally 1-to-1, which is 1 gram of protein to 1 gram of fat.
Yeah.
So that is the one time where I'm going to tell you I recommend tracking it cooked version. So when you look on the package of most bacons, it actually does usually tell you like serving size 2 pan fried slices, which is you're cooking it and then you're leaving all of the bacon to make bacon mayo. Okay?
You'll get the fat in there.
Next one's from Ola.
Hey, Ola. My Krazy burger would be bison burger with bacon jam and Cambozola cheese. Wow.
That sounds good.
That sounds really good.
Oh, we have...
I want some bacon jam right now.
I just realized I know what you have for lunch today.
What are we having for lunch today?
It's in the refrigerator.
What is it?
Liverwurst.
Oh, no. Can I go over to your house and get some bacon jam topped hamburgers?
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with Facebook.
I still think we're probably having some liverwurst today.
Well, I also have
Mondays.
I have some shredded beef too.
Okay. Now we're back.
First one from Facebook's from Teresa. Said,
hey,
question.
Teresa.
I am going to happy hour with some friends tonight. If I order a vodka club soda or 2, Will it kick me out of ketosis?
Good question. I think a lot of people wonder that.
Okay, so that is the title for today's Keto on the Couch,
Is
which
it
you
really?
did not see because you don't ever like me discussing
Sweaty armpits,
this
here
topic.
it comes.
Okay. We have to talk about oxidative priority.
Yeah.
Okay. So oxidative priority.
Wait.
What?
First of all, we are the mother and father of 3 children, but we are not your mother and father.
Yes.
And we understand that.
Yes.
So like whatever we're sharing, it's just because we want people to have the best success and not because we're trying to tell you what is right and what is wrong.
Right.
Does that make sense?
So the
You need to
short
get that
answer
out.
of this question is yes. Alcohol will kick you out of ketosis.
Okay.
Regardless of what the meter says. Okay? So now let's talk about oxidative priority. Oxidative priority is the order in which our body processes fuel. So the number one thing when you consume it, if you have all of these things present in your body, the first thing that your body is going to deal with is alcohol because it looks at it as a toxin. Also, your body has the ability to actually hold on to 0 grams of alcohol. So it needs to get rid of it. It can't store alcohol, so it gets rid of it. That's the first thing that it does. It gets rid of alcohol. What does that mean? It stops all other processes in your liver to get rid of the alcohol. So it stops fat metabolism, it stops getting rid of carbs and everything else. And what does it do with those? It starts looking to do something with them, like store them as fat.
Yeah.
Once your body has gotten rid of all the alcohol, then it moves on to actually dealing with exogenous ketones or ketones. That's why consuming exogenous ketones can actually stall your weight loss because before your body can get to the carbohydrates and the fat, it has to deal with the ketones first.
So you're going to use exogenous ketones and get the meter reading that will make you feel excited and happy, but it's actually
But it's not being burned from fat.
not helping you to lose weight if losing weight is the primary goal.
Right. Now, after the ketones, then your body deals with protein, but not protein for fuel. It looks at protein as far as for amino acids and things like that. Then we deal with carbohydrates. After carbohydrates, then we move to dietary fat, and then we move to body fat. So if you're trying to burn body fat, you've got to go through all of those things before your body can get to dealing with the body fat. Now, does that mean no, don't consume any dietary fat? No, you have to consume dietary fat. That's another whole subject because your body's metabolism will slow down because it wants to be in homeostasis. But it means if you drink, you're probably going to be storing anything you're eating
For a
when
couple
you're
of days
drinking.
even.
As body fat, and you certainly won't be converting any body fat or even dietary fat to ketones.
So it could be very frustrating if, let's say, you only drink 2 or 3 times a week. But if it takes your body a day or 2,
you'll probably never be in ketosis.
to get back into the process of fat burning, that could really frustrate you. Right?
Now, does that mean you can't ever have a drink?
No.
No, just be aware. I would say if you're going to drink, I would try to limit to maybe even once a month. If you are in an active state of trying to lose weight, I would hold off on drinking. And I'm telling you this from personal experience, right? We have had a couple of drinks here and there.
Yeah.
During COVID, we definitely had a couple of drinks here and there. And I think that was probably one of the things that was putting us in a stall because it was more than we were used to having.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And since not having any alcohol at all since then, it was amazing that all of a sudden, things picked up again and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just something to be aware of that if you're going to consume alcohol, you're looking at a few hours to a few days, depending on how much you drink, before your body is going to actively get back into the fat burning state.
We just don't want you to be frustrated needlessly.
Yep. Next one's from Anna.
Hey Anna, hi Joe and Rachel. I've been following the keto lifestyle for at least 2 years and never started. I have 100 pounds to lose. Where should I begin with your videos? I feel miserable and depressed because I have let myself get to this. Any direction would be greatly appreciated. Well, Anna, first off, thanks for sharing your life with us. Thanks for letting us be a part of your day. And I think it begins with letting go of past regret. There's nothing about hating yourself or being frustrated with yourself or disappointed in yourself that's going to help propel you moving forward. It's just extra baggage that becomes hard to carry. So I would just decide first, start here. Leave that behind. There's nothing that you can do about the choices that you made yesterday. Decide today, I'm going to start making choices and heading in the direction of what will propel me to better health.
Yeah.
That's the number one.
If you're looking at what videos to start with, we have an entire series that I forgot to link in the description, but I will do that after we're done here, and I'll also put it up in the cards here on the replay. And that is, I would go to our series on how to get started on keto. There's like 5 videos. It's like a 5-step process. And there's some extra videos in there as well. But starting off with, like, we always tell people, listen, the first week, just dump the sugar and the grains.
That's a lot.
Don't worry about
to
counting
do.
calories. Don't figure out your macros. Just eat as much as you want, as many times a day. I don't care if it's 10 times a day. Just eat, but no carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Right? Don't eat a bunch of keto treats. Just eat a bunch of bacon and eggs and burgers and whatever you want. No sugar, no grains, no starches for the first week or 2. Then after that, now that your body's gotten used to getting rid of all that sugar stuff, then we can move into macros and things like that.
Just begin with that.
Excuse me. Go ahead and check out those videos. Ready Set Keto put up a thing, said, Joe, you said that bacon cooked would be close to 1-to-1. Do you think ground beef would be the same? Because when I track on Chronometer, it shows way more fat than protein. Thanks. So it depends on which actual ground beef you are using. Are you using 80-20? Are you using 85-15? So if you look at 80-20 cooked, like pan fried in a pan and then leaving the excess grease, 80-20 is going to be slightly higher fat to protein. I mean, slightly higher. Whereas 85-15 is slightly less. I always, when we're looking at cooking our ground beef, I count it as what I made it raw, knowing that I'm not consuming all of that fat.
Yeah.
Because again, I would rather underestimate than overestimate. So what do I mean by that? I'd rather think that I ate 20 grams of fat, but I only ate 15, rather than thinking that I ate 15 and I actually ate 20. Because if I eat more than I thought, if I eat more than I actually am accounting inside of Chronometer, I could be hurting my journey.
Yeah.
Right? If my goal is to only have 150 grams of fat in a day, and I'm going by cooked, and it came out to 150, but I actually ate 200, well, that's probably why I'd be gaining weight.
Well, and we don't consume ground beef like we used to. Remember when there were the days of like you drained it all off? I mean, right. I can even remember rinsing it off. Now I want to like be sick even thinking about that. But it was time where I was trying to get every little bit of fat. And sometimes now we even add some like tomato basil or taco seasoning so that we can actually soak up the grease.
That's pretty much anytime we make ground beef, we pretty much, unless it goes down the drain or we're cooking a burger on a grill, we are consuming pretty much all of the fat that's in that beef. Because remember, when you cook ground beef or any protein, there's really 3 things to the weight of that chicken. So or ground beef. So it's gonna be fat, protein, and water. That's what's in there. So when you cook, you lose the water, and then the fat, you could lose some fat through the cooking process, like down like into the drain pan of your grill, or if you're cooking on a barbecue grill, it'll just drain off. But the protein never goes down. So no matter how much you cook it, you'll always have the same amount of protein, whether it's pre or post cook. Fat depends again on the draining process, and then water just evaporates. So it's just the best way to do it is use raw when it comes to your meat, except for bacon.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is from Scott.
Hey Scott, question. What am I doing wrong? I've been trying to do 2 Keto Chow shakes a day plus a meal at night. It's been 3 weeks. I'm a type 2 diabetic that takes slow and fast acting insulin. My blood sugar numbers are awesome right now, hardly taking any rapid response insulin. My problem is I'm not hungry, not at all. I'm sitting here typing this and all I've had today is 1 shake and a couple of pieces of beef jerky. Did the same thing yesterday. Dr. Berry says eat until you're comfortably full. Does that mean it's okay not to eat anymore? My sugars aren't crashing. Any thoughts are deeply appreciated.
Okay, so this is a difficult question. and it's a question we get a lot. Now, again, I want to remind you, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals, but both answers are right. So, yes.
That's not helpful at all.
Eat until you are comfortably satiated, but you do have to get a minimum in.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you risk the chance of slowing down your metabolism. And we need to do a full video on this, but basically your body is always going to try to achieve homeostasis. That is, balance the amount of fuel you are taking in. I'm not going to use the word calories. Balance the amount of fuel that you're taking in with the amount of fuel that you are actually burning. And the amount of fuel the problem with calories in, calories out, or eat less, move more, the biggest problem with that is you have no idea of exactly how many calories you are consuming, and there is no real way to accurately measure the amount of fuel that you are burning.
Even if your bike that you're riding
different.
Or your treadmill says
it's all an
this is
estimate.
how many calories you've lost, like that is an estimate.
And it's an average. So even when you look at those calculators, it's going to say, okay, you are, a 45-year-old woman who weighs 145 pounds at 5'7.5", right? And you should be consuming 1,600 calories to lose weight. But that is an average. That means that some women who are 45 years old, 5'7.5" at 146 pounds, need to consume less, and some need to consume more, because there is no real way to know how much fuel you need to burn. So now it comes down to you figuring it out for yourself. So with that being said, you have to, if you're trying to undereat, your body's going to slow things down to match what you're eating.
Yeah.
If you overeat, your body will try to get more of that fuel burn. And by doing things like motivating you to, if you're listening to your signals, to work out more, motivating you to go for a walk
you get
or
very
a run.
fidgety.
Making you fidgety. You ever notice when people are like super fidgety? A lot of times that is your body trying to get rid of excess energy. So we have to eat enough. What I'm going to tell you is, based on this, and I don't know if you're intermittent fasting, if you're intermittent fasting, spread open your window, okay? Try to get more food in. Try to balance out your fat and your protein. Don't worry about the carbs so much. Obviously you want to keep it in there, but don't worry about calories. Everybody should be eating at least 100 grams of protein. And I would try to match your fat and then up it from there. Just remember, if you're under eating, you're going to slow down your metabolism, and now you're going to end up hitting a stall or possibly even gaining weight the way Rachel did. Okay?
I'm so extra at that.
You're really good at that. Next one's from Teresa.
Hey, Teresa. Which would I get the most use out of? A Blackstone indoor grill or electric smoker? What are your thoughts?
Okay, it's funny that Chris actually put a thing recently on the Keto Chat website of us discussing this topic like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think we were on their live stream.
Have your thoughts changed?
Okay, so it depends on what you like. My opinion, okay? We have them all, okay? We don't have an electric smoker, but we have gas smokers and grills. If you are going to do a lot of eggs and a lot of bacon and not so much on cooking like big briskets and stuff, I would say get the Blackstone indoor grill.
Yeah.
Since getting the indoor grill, I don't think we've used a frying pan yet. It is super versatile. You can cook eggs on it. You can cook bacon on it. You can cook burgers on it. You can cook steak on it.
You have so much nice surface area.
Ground beef, because you have so much room.
It's like a hibachi.
Easy to clean.
Yeah. Anything. The boys enjoy using it. It's super easy. You don't have to be like, I use it all the time.
Right.
You don't have to be a master chef.
When we were in
Utah,
I even know that Chris and Miriam's youngest son, Sam,
was
making steaks on it. That's how easy it is to use. So it is super versatile. Now, if you really are planning on doing a lot of smoked meats and things like that, then I would go with a smoker. But if you had to ask me if you could only buy one, I would probably start off with the indoor Blackstone grill, just because it's so versatile.
I agree, and it's nice. Like, it fits on the counter really nice. Of course, the time of year depends on that also. Like, if you live in a winter state and you're like, goodness, it's not going to be until May or June before I can, utilize this outdoor cooking method, then maybe the electric grill is even more better idea.
Regarding the sleep, Joanna put this up. It said, I need to take time out to consciously shut down electronics and quietly nightly to decompress. and to get to bed at a decent time. I've been lazy. 26% haven't tried it.
I think that our thing just puts in 26% really weirdly, because I see that all the time.
It might be, it might.
Like a period. It's recognizing an emoji of some sort. Yeah.
It's an emoji.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that is something that we have had to consciously go turn off the electronics. And I don't want to say it's created fights, but it has definitely been, like, are you serious? Like, with both of us. So, like, the other night.
Thanks for that, and not just, like, throwing me under the bus.
We were watching TV the other night, and I said, okay,
episode.
We need to turn it off. And she's like, but I'm not tired yet. I'm like, we said we were turning it off at 10:30. I was like, right? But then I would pick up my phone, and she would lean over and say, we said no electronics. That means no phone, no iPad.
Yeah.
But that's us keeping each other accountable.
Right.
And it really has benefited that we've been able to get to sleep a little bit earlier. We even made it now that the TV automatically turns off at 10:30. So there is no discussion.
Yeah, that really helps too. But I think that this is something, and I think anything that you're trying to make a holy habit in your life, start it with a checklist. Sleep doesn't just happen. Exercise doesn't just happen. Eating right doesn't just happen. You have to take steps. There's a lot of steps to me, like having a plate of what I want to eat in front of me, right? So I think it's the same thing for sleep. I think you need to have a shutdown checklist and times to go with that when you're first getting started and it feels very foreign. Right. Because I'm thinking to myself, I'm not tired yet.
Right.
That's my inner shenanigans that are speaking for me. But if I can start at 9:30, even if I set an alarm for myself and start saying, okay, at 9:30, go to the checklist, and what is the next thing that you're gonna do to wind down? Sometimes it might be like, I put a little bit of like lavender chamomile lotion on myself. Like there's a whole happy thing that's going on that's like, okay, well, that smells good and I'm getting relaxed. Maybe you put on some music to start with, but just have some steps for winding yourself down.
Yeah. Next one's from Diane.
Hey, Diane.
She said, I'm new to Keto Chow, and I'm wondering if I can use organic coconut milk would be a good choice to mix into my packets. Yeah, you can.
Packets.
You can use organic coconut milk. Just understand that coconut milk has more carbs in it.
Right.
And you'll still have to add water. So that a can of organic coconut milk is, I believe, 12 or 14 ounces. So I don't remember how many carbs it is. But I know it's up there a little bit, which is one of the reasons we don't use coconut milk as much in our pudding anymore. But you'll still have to add at least another like 10 ounces of water to your, shake and stuff like that. But It is an option. It would go really good with the orange cream.
Yes,
or
I love it.
Or the pina colada as
I
well.
love it with orange cream. That's one of my favorite ways.
Next one is from Tam.
Hey, Tam. Hi, everybody. Would you suggest electrolytes every day? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
When you are in ketosis only, every day.
Every day.
It's for everybody. It's not even just for keto people. I think that we're experiencing, especially children. We think about that if you're doing sports, kids need electrolytes. Everybody needs electrolytes. Seniors need electrolytes. Yes. We all need electrolytes.
Yeah. Now, again, not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. You need more electrolytes when you're on keto because your body isn't storing them as much because you're getting rid of your glycogen stores, and that's where your electrolytes get stored. It is very difficult to overdo electrolytes, especially on keto, so long as you are hydrating with water as well. Or not just water, fluids, okay? A lot of people do confuse hydration with water.
Right.
You can get dehydrated drinking a lot of water, especially on keto. I see kids all the time on the sports field get dehydrated even though they're drinking a gallon of water the night before in the morning of a game.
Because water is
they're
not
flushing out electrolytes. Okay? So hydration is a balance of both. Dr. Siwas talked about that. You have to have both. If you consume a whole lot of electrolytes, like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 milligrams of sodium a day, but don't consume much fluid at all, now you can have too much salt. But if you consume a bunch of fluids and your electrolytes, your body will flush out anything excess. Mm-hmm. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, I would recommend, regardless of what a meter says, getting your electrolytes in, starting off with sodium, 3,500 to 4,500 milligrams a day minimum. Next one is from Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. Why do we weigh food? It says, I thought this was fitting for April's tracking month. 1 tablespoon of peanut butter is, look at this on one
It's
side.
comparing it.
My mound is 262 calories. A normal mound is 119 calories. As Jamie Oliver would say, just a dash of oil. So look at what a dash looks like. My dash, eyeballing it, versus what the actual dash is, 190 calories versus 96 calories. And then a handful of almonds. Wow. 152 calories versus 87 calories. It says weighing food can minimize inconsistencies in visual estimations for a more accurate understanding of how much energy you are consuming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, which is why we said this month, stop fooling yourself.
We saw that this morning when we
talked about it in our vlog. We put
topping
some
with
blueberries because blueberries are in season locally here in Florida. And I think we actually weighed them out. 25 grams of blueberries was 12 blueberries. And that's 3.6 carbs.
And it looked very small.
Yeah.
If you just had a side container or blueberries on your plate and you're not using them to top things or a part of a recipe like we tend to use berries, then it looked like you didn't get that much. I would eyeball more.
Right.
I'd be like, I think I get a bigger serving than this. But
and if you were to turn that into a blueberry sauce, you'd have twice as many blueberries.
Yeah.
But the same amount of size, right? Because you're turning it into a sauce. And blackberries, I think it was 4 blackberries in 25 gram serving, which is 2.5 carbs.
Wow.
So, and again, berries is something that a lot of people drive by. Every time you open a refrigerator, have 1 or 2. And by the end of the day, you could be having 50 or 60 and 10, 15, 20 carbs in berries
fast.
without thinking about it.
And it's the same thing with nuts. It's the same thing with cheese for Joe. Like
Right.
we've talked about that, where it's like when you have it, where it's perfect finger food size. It's perfect for a drive-by.
And again, we're not saying you need to track and weigh all the time, but every once in a while, it's nice to pull out a scale and actually just figure it out. We were talking about the other day, Saturday or Friday, I don't remember. One of the 2 days we went to Rodizio Grill. Is that where we went?
Yes.
Yeah, Rodizio Grill.
It was brand new.
We'd never been to a Rodizio Grill. They recently opened it up down by the airport. It was really, really good. We enjoyed it. And I said to Rachel, the next time we come, we have a little tiny scale. It's only about that big. We're going to bring it and actually weigh
How much do we
every
actually
piece of
eat?
meat we get. And again, I know it's going to look silly, but
We're
I would be
comfortable
curious,
being
how
weirdos.
much have we eaten when we go there? I think that you actually eat less beef and meat overall when you go to a Brazilian steakhouse than if you were to go to, for example, Texas Roadhouse and get a 20-ounce prime rib.
I'm interested to see.
Because you're eating, even though you're constantly getting more, you're eating slower, so the protein takes its time to hit you.
We're already weirdos. Like, we know it. We know that we're weirdos in
Right.
public. So I think we're ready for that next level of being a weirdo in public.
Okay, let's get into some comments. Tony's got a great question. How do you get rid of the dawn phenomenon? You don't, and you don't want to. So if you don't know what if you don't know what the dawn phenomenon is, the dawn phenomenon is where your body actually increases glucose in the morning. It's supposed to do that. You don't want to get rid of that. So generally within a couple of hours of you waking up, your body's glucose will go up, even if you're on a fast. That is gluconeogenesis. Your body needs that. That is a super important thing. In fact, that is something that when we were talking with Dr. Siwis on our video, he was like, Rachel's not experiencing a dawn phenomenon, and I don't like that. That is a flight or fight mechanism. You want your body to, in the event of it needs it, to be able to create that glucose. Even if you're never eating any glucose at all, 0 carbohydrates, you will always have some in your blood because your body needs it. There are some functions in your brain that need a little bit of glucose.
I think it's interesting that I don't like confrontation so much that actually my body has rejected a flight or fight mechanism.
Back one. Back. Previous slide. There we go.
And we're back.
Yeah. So no, you don't want to get rid of the dawn phenomenon. Just understand it's there. So when you first get up in the morning, understand your glucose should be a little bit higher, and then it's going to come down. That is your body's way of getting up in the morning. Okay. And you would notice that if you have a CGM, if you were a CGM, you will see certain times of the day where even if you're not eating, glucose goes up a little bit. For example, I found whenever I'm sleeping, if I get up in the middle of the night, my glucose goes up. Why? Because my body's doing something to get me motivated to get up. I also found my glucose would go up when Rachel would come home, right? Because like the excitement of her seeing me. So
or like, I'm in trouble because I've gotten into shenanigans while she was gone. Either one of those things would spike.
Okay, let's see. Blue Dove said, you can cool the grease that cooks off in the fridge. It will solidify and you can separate it from the water and wait to see exactly how much you cooked out. Yeah, you can. That's just way too much work for me. I am lazy. Let's see. Tony said, question, do electrolytes raise your glucose levels? Depends on which ones. They shouldn't, unless you're taking something that's got a whole bunch of sugar in there. You know, you're again, I think sometimes people get hung up too much on the numbers. They see my glucose is 90 and now it's 94. That's a margin of error. You know, when you're looking for glucose spikes, you're looking for my glucose was 90, I ate, and now it's 150, 200, 250.
Yeah.
That's a glucose spike. If your glucose was 90 and now it's 100, that's not a spike. There's a margin of error for those machines. Let's see. Yeah, Blue Dove said, dawn effect is just part of being a mammal. Yeah.
I like being a mammal. Let's celebrate it.
Kat is here. Said,
Kat.
hey, 2KK family, sitting at my campsite in Yosemite Valley.
Oh, are you jealous?
38 degrees, but enjoying my view of Yosemite Falls as I sip on my coffee.
Kat, that is stinking awesome. Super jello jigglers about that. That is neat.
Becky said I'd get the indoor Blackstone. That's a great idea.
My mom really enjoys hers too.
Yeah. Let's see. Serena said, I'm going to have to rewatch.
Thank
I'm behind.
you, Serena.
I didn't even realize we also had this one from the Smoky Mountains that somebody else sent us.
I know. Thank you guys so much for our beautiful mugs.
Chris said, my kids keep trying to use the metal spatulas on the Blackstone electric griddle.
I actually heard him say that to Sam, like, I love you so much. Can you please not scratch
They
it
do
up?
have silicone ones that you can get from Walmart. They're specifically for that thing, and we love them. We have 2 of them.
Oh yeah, she sees I'm using my cup.
Chrissy said, I have a Blackstone and I just got my Creamy. I got a smokeless indoor grill last summer, but haven't used it much.
Oh, Blue Dove says that 26% is standing in for the ampersand. That's interesting.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Let's see. Becky said, I use my Creamy on the daily and our smoker weekly.
Yeah. We definitely use our Creamy a lot.
Christy said, I think I need to find permanent space for my indoor grill. I think that is my biggest problem.
Oh, yeah?
I'm the same way, like out of sight, out of mind.
My mom uses her Blackstone outside on the patio. She has a screened-in patio, and she's like, I like to have all the smoke and everything outdoors, but she still keeps it on like an enclosed patio.
Yeah. Okay, so Matreya's got a great, so this is her, I guess, routine at night. I shower, start the dishwasher, fix my magnesium, then I get in bed and participate in live streams while I have my magnesium and I fall asleep.
So there
That's
you
a
go.
good thing.
You've got a plan for how you're going to live. And so you know, and your body starts to react, right? Because if you have made it a holy habit and like you are, winding down, your body takes that cue. Like, okay, I know what comes next. Magnesium comes next. Or I know the next thing, we're going to get a shower and this is what happens after that. Like, so you're telling your body what to respond to.
Yeah. So Keto Life Granny, thank you very much for being a channel member. Said, thank you to Crazy Ketos about your glucose going up when not eating other than dawn phenomenon because it's been stressing me out.
Okay.
Yesterday, mine went up 5 hours after lunch of meat only. So protein will elevate your glucose a little bit, but as Dr. Berry has talked about, it's not the same thing.
Right.
Okay. That's okay. Okay. It's more of where are you much later on, especially if you're carnivore, your glucose will generally be a little bit higher. That does not mean you're a diabetic.
No.
Okay. It does not mean you're going back into diabetes. If you're only eating protein and your glucose was 80 and now it's in the 90s, it's a normal thing because your body, again, does need a little bit of glucose, so it's going to actually create it. But yeah, the whole reason gluconeogenesis exists in our body is that we do need a little bit of glucose. We just don't need the 34 grams that most people are consuming on a daily basis. And so your body has this mechanism to be able to create it. Also, it can create it not just from protein, but also from your muscle and from fatty acids. So don't think it's like only protein because it can do it from fat as well. It can basically create glucose when it needs it. And if it feels like, hey, I need some glucose, especially in the morning to get up, or if you're running from a lion or something like that, then
I
your
hope you're
body
not
is going
running
to
from
create
a lion
it.
this
So I
Monday
wouldn't worry
morning.
about it too much, especially if you're not eating any sugar. Let's see. Blue Dove said, my mother-in-law got up at 6 a.m. with leg cramps. She says she's taking magnesium, but I will have to look at what form in her supplement. If it's magnesium oxide, it's not doing her any good. That is so true. Yeah. You get these companies that put magnesium oxide in, and they're like, you're getting so much magnesium, but your body's not using any of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. The warden is here said some total carnivores do not take or even advocate electrolytes. They say if you're eating all as meat, no carbs, then don't need it if meat has all of your nutrients. To a point, I mean, again, you need salt. You absolutely, depends on how much you're eating and what type you're eating. If you're eating a lot of seafood, you'll get more sodium than if you're eating beef.
Right.
But I'm going to agree to disagree with some of them. I mean, you need to get at least at minimum sodium, but it depends on if you're not eating a bunch of seafood like us. If you're not eating sardines and things like that, you're going to need more than somebody who is eating all of it.
Yeah.
You're eating liver, all of that stuff, which we're not eating. Blue Dove says they say that, but I've been having headaches and tight muscles without Relight capsules, even without taking daily minerals and salting liberally. Let's see. Keto Life Granny said, I stopped eating berries and nuts because a serving isn't possibly enough.
We have really, recently started trying to bring some of this into our life to see, okay, we're going to circle back. How can we incorporate some of these things? Like, I enjoy the freshness of some berries when it is locally grown and in season, as we've talked about. I know that I have to keep a tight fence around it. It's not like, I'm not going to treat it the same way as I do a hamburger patty. But I have enjoyed weighing it out and incorporating it into recipes versus the way that I used to eat it, which was just a bowl of nuts or a bowl of berries as like a standalone product. I've enjoyed it as we've incorporated it to add flavor, which I think it was meant to do into recipes that we're already using. Yep.
Okay, so Rush has a good question. Indoor Blackstone, why does one need it other than cooking space? I mean, I'm just one person to cook for. Is there any real benefit beyond a good frying pan? It just depends on what kind of cooking you like to do. It basically is a giant frying pan.
It is.
For me, I enjoy cooking on it more than a frying pan. It's easier to clean. I don't have to use my stovetop. It doesn't heat up my house as much as a stovetop. But it's also got the drain in the back for the grease. So I like the fact that I'm draining off the excess grease. It makes it easier for me to collect my bacon grease.
Yeah.
Things like that. But for one person, maybe not.
Well, my mom has one and she really enjoys it because, again, we eat a lot of greasy things that splatters. She enjoys the fact that I don't have to, wash the frying pan, wash down the stove, have the lid on or face splatter on the walls. She likes that it keeps it all contained. I find that even if it's just me at home or I'm cooking something for the kids, I still reach for the Blackstone because it's just such a quick cook. You've got lots of surface area.
Yeah, you can cook your bacon and then halfway through start your eggs, your ground beef on one side.
Clean it down
eggs.
with a paper towel. Cleanup is super, super easy.
It's just personal preference. I mean, you could say the same thing about having an outdoor Blackstone grill.
Yeah.
For me, it's just ease. Sharon, thank you very much for becoming a channel member.
Welcome, Sharon.
Okay, I did say this. Michelle said, I found I need more potassium to avoid cramps in addition to magnesium. So usually you'll know which one you're deficient in more. If you're having muscle cramps during the day while you're active, that's usually potassium. If you're having muscle cramps while you're sitting around doing nothing, especially at night while sleeping, that's usually magnesium. Let's see. Carrie said, I was eating liver and eggs and beef and sardines and mackerel, and then I was putting Redmond salt in my water and my ankle started to swell. I started using Tommy Copper ankle sleeves and they help. Yeah, you might not be having enough fluids. You might be, if you're having all that stuff and you're putting salt in your water and you're adding salt to all your food,
drink some more water.
You probably aren't drinking enough
flush it out.
Because if you drink enough fluid, your body will flush out extra sodium. Your body's really good at maintaining the right amount of sodium. Let's see. I think that then we are caught up, and that's good. We are going to get
almost
off
time for
because
Keto
Channel is going to be starting their live stream. We really do appreciate everybody for joining us. We got a couple of videos to edit, some more vlogs coming out, And I'm going to go get Anthony to do the keto box video as well.
Yes.
So, guys, thank you very much for joining us. Now, don't forget, Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern will be our weekly live stream.
We love
Everybody
you
have
guys.
a great day. Bye.